Welcome back, everyone. You've seen our next guest on Top Chef and Battling Bobby Flay on Food Network, and today he's teaching us how to pickle our vegetables to make a spicy giardiniera. Please welcome back Chef Bruce Coleman. Thanks for being here, Bruce, man.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for being here.
Happy to be here.
Now, before you take me through all this fantasticness, I know you just started your own line of pickles.
I did.
It's a big deal.
It is.
What was it that made you decide to do that?
Well, I mean, first off, I grew up in New Jersey.
Okay.
And there's pickles everywhere you go. So I was kind of born with a pickle in my mouth.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then, not a silver spoon.
I was going to say.
Pickle.
A silver pickle.
That's a different trajectory.
Different conversation.
Yeah.
But, and then, you know, being in Southern California and the amazing produce that's here, it just blew me away. And one of my sous chefs, my old job, I had a whole pickle program there, and she was like, you should start your own pickle company. So I did.
So good,
I think it's fantastic. Here today, you're showing us how to make a classic giardiniera.
Giardiniere, yeah.
Yeah, so tell me, how do we start? Obviously, it starts with a great brine.
You always have to have a great brine to start, and then great produce.
Okay.
You know, and you know the ingredients is what makes it great, especially with pickles. It's so simple. It's like simple cooking.
Exactly.
You have to use the best ingredients you can find. Otherwise, it's not going to taste very good. So the giardiniera, meaning the garden in Italian, you can kind of mix and match your vegetables a little bit.
Yeah.
But I like to use celery, cauliflower, carrots, onions, bell peppers, and then serrano chilies. This is my take on a Chicago-style giardiniera.
So that's the kick.
That's the
But,
kick.
but before we even get to the veggies, we should start with the brine.
This one.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so let's jump right into that.
All right, so the brine is just some good distilled white vinegar.
Okay.
And then salt and sugar.
You know, it's so spicy, but you can't stop eating it. You keep going back.
Well,
for more.
because it's like sweet and spicy.
Seriously.
But we got some chilies going in there too,
Yep.
right? With the brine,
Yep.
that's the key. And you made the good point of not
these
to
are
chop these
serrano
up.
chilies. Yeah, no, I made the bad point of doing it incorrectly and tasting it, and it's like melt your face hot. So I learned, I'm like, you gotta pickle them when they're still whole.
Oh my God.
So
Okay,
the
so
idea, one of the biggest things behind the great flavor of this is the brine with the flavor of the serrano chili.
Yeah.
Great.
Without that, you know, and I like to do this. We'll bring this up. We're going to cook them until they're that pale color.
About that color?
But I like to still leave them a little bit crunchy, though.
Yeah.
Okay, but then you let them cool off. So once you
Overnight.
get to the boil, you cook the chilies, then you put them into the
Let it
fridge.
go overnight in
Let
the
it go-
fridge. Yeah, then it's the way it gets more flavor, more and
Now,
more flavor.
after you've let the brine cool overnight, then you take them out and you take the chilies out of
Take
the brine.
chilies out of the brine.
You chop them up.
Yeah, you can slice them, chop them. I do this many different ways. You have it as a relish,
That's good.
chopped up, and then I do it, you know, you can also have it as like a pickled vegetable option, maybe like on your holiday buffet.
Oh, nice.
You know, it's really nice.
Okay, but then you got to bring your brine back to a boil. So
You
it's
gotta bring it
interesting.
back up hot,
You cool it
yeah.
off, then you bring it back up.
Exactly.
And the reason for that is
Because you want to slightly cook the vegetables, and also it'll take a lot longer for the process to happen.
okay, great. So
Yeah.
this is obviously the making of the giardiniera, bringing that the brine that's been heated up to about 200 degrees. You said.
Yep.
And what vegetable we talked about the veggies. We got a little bit of cauliflower there.
We got some celery. I love celery leaves. Are one of those things people cut them off and throw them away, and I'm like, what are you doing? They're
much
so
flavor.
good.
All right, good.
And
I have to
then-
be honest with you, this is and I'm not just saying this because I love you and I think you're an amazing chef and you're a good friend.
Are you about to insult me?
Yes, I apologize, but no. This is, I mean this, the best giardiniera I've ever had. Because you know you can get
thank
that
you.
giardiniera in the jars.
Yeah.
And something is always a little like you're not really quite sure. It's good, but then
Wait,
you're
it's
like,
like,
woo.
what?
Yeah,
The man
one more
started
time.
his own
Okay,
line of
okay, okay.
pickles. He knows what he's doing.
Very good, Bruce.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so you're putting all these
Serranos
veggies,
going
including
in.
the serranos as
Oh,
well.
of course.
And then this is when you want to put the brine that you've just heated back in there.
First, a little bit of dried oregano.
Okay.
I've tried it with fresh oregano. It doesn't come out the same.
Oh, interesting. Is it
Mustard
overpowering?
Oh, mustard seed. No, it's just different.
Okay.
It's not. It's hard to explain. It works with the dried, and then a little bit of chopped garlic. It doesn't have a lot.
I love how simple this is.
Can you mix
know
that
what
up
I
for
mean?
me?
I can
Just
do
so
that.
you want to
That I can
incorporate
do.
those?
Okay.
And
like
then
your
I've got
fancy brining.
Yeah.
yeah. And part of making
plastic
brine,
pot.
a tip on making brine too is you don't want to like boil it. You just want to. Any brine you're making for pickles, you bring it up, let the dried ingredients dissolve, and then shut it off.
Okay.
With these, you have to go a little bit longer because you want to cook those serranos a little bit.
Okay, very good.
All right, so that's
Good.
it. You just mix it.
Mix it up.
We're gonna add the brine. Now that doesn't look like a lot, right?
No.
No.
It does not look like a lot.
It's correct though. Because
is?
what's going to happen is that hot brine, you're not going to be able to see it now because it takes a minute, but it's going to start extracting all of the water out of the vegetables.
Wow.
And then the most important part is some good olive oil.
Oh man.
So how much brine was that? Was that
Smelling
even half a
fantastic.
cup?
Yeah, that was about a cup of brine.
Okay.
A cup of brine.
Yeah,
How
every
much
time I make it, I'm like, it's not right, you know? And then I sit
it doesn't
there.
look like it.
Yeah, but the hot brine, again, you won't be able to see it now, but it'll end up looking like that jar right there.
And how long do you let this marinate for?
At least a day. Ideally, leave it for a week.
Okay.
Leave it in your fridge. Let it really get some flavor going on. You
So
know?
we
And
put
it's all
this in
about
the
planning.
fridge
Yep.
and let that sit for a day, 2
Now,
days.
what about the
to a
rest of
week.
these we're looking
and
at?
yeah, we're going to look at some of these other
So
ones.
these are a few of the other ones. I'm making about 6 or 7 different pickles right now. But I have my garlic, horseradish, dill cucumbers, which I love. I use fresh grated horseradish, all the best ingredients I can find, locally sourced cucumbers. You know, you can see on these cucumbers, I'm very picky about the cucumbers I select too, because you know those honking fat pickling cucumbers you get, they have so much seed pocket, and so they don't get nice and crispy.
Oh, right.
And I just brought these. The Kirby cucumber is the one that we don't have, but that's the one that you want to use for something like this. These are Persian cucumbers,
Yeah, I love
and I've
those.
made pickles about these. I just don't hold the crunch.
They
Okay.
don't?
Yeah,
I love
and then
them.
man, I love those too.
English hothouse cucumbers, they call them.
Those are the best?
They're grown. No, they're good. I mean,
Okay.
they don't have as much flavor. I would say these have a lot more flavor.
Good.
And then your standard garden variety cucumber. Any of them will work. You just have to change your process. If you're using a cucumber with a thinner skin, you maybe cool your brine down so it doesn't cook it as much.
Okay.
You don't get it quite
Right.
as hot. Is that the idea? That's the trick to pickling cucumbers.
Exactly.
Now, what is the red thing we're eating? What
So
is
this is a hot sweet pepper relish.
It's so good.
Thank you. Yeah, it's roasted peppers, and
Okay.
it has a little tiny bit of maple syrup and
That's what
fennel
it is.
seed, and it works. Like you
That's
don't
what-
necessarily
yeah.
taste it, but you're like, it's one of those things you're like,
When you took
what's
your
that
first bite,
taste?
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't.
I
I
said,
can't put
what
my
is
finger
this?
on it.
Each one of your
good.
relishes has such a great finish. Like it just
thank you.
rests beautifully in your mouth.
I never, as a chef, like anything to be overly sweet. Like especially dessert. I always balance dessert out with a little savory, because that's what you don't want. That it's just really
much.
off-putting. So yes, this does have a bit of sugar in it. You know, the sweet pickle relish, but it's not like you know the neon green relish that you see sometimes.
Again, like I said, makes you kind of go, "Oink."
Yeah.
But this is, you know what I mean?
I think I'm gonna put that face on my label.
And you cannot unsee it. That's the problem.